The World Trade Organization has ruled that the Trump administration's trade war is illegal. It says American duties imposed on more than $200 billion in Chinese goods broke trading rules as they applied only to China and were above maximum rates agreed to by the US. Washington says they were justified as Beijing was stealing intellectual property and forcing American companies to transfer technology for access to its markets. US Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer says the WTO is completely inadequate to stop China's harmful practices. This is just the start of a legal process that could take years. Sung Han-soo joins us from Taipei. So what is China's response to all of this?
Well, a lot of Chinese people are asking if the U.S. would again withdraw from another important international organization. But officially, China's Commerce Ministry said Beijing supported the WTO and respect its rules and rulings and hope Washington would do the same. It again criticized the U.S. unilateralism and trade protectionism and called the U.S. tariff wrong practices against the WTO's dispute settlement mechanism. It also emphasized that the WTO is the cornerstone of international trade and urged the U.S. to uphold this multilateral trading system like other WTO members.
I think we're going to hear a lot more about the modernizing of the WTO in the days ahead. Can the ruling, though, help China in its trade war with the US?
Well, China's victory this time is more a symbolic one because the enforceability is a real challenge. Of course, the U.S. can launch an appeal in the WTO Supreme Court, but this body is now pretty much paralyzed because normally they have 7 judges. At the moment, they only have 1, so they cannot really deal with any cases, and that's because Washington has vetoed the appointment of the judges. And that's also why the WTO, in its statements, also said that the two parties have to resolve the trade war themselves.
Exactly. This whole case could end up in legal limbo. We'll see if the US does decide to appeal. Sung Han-soo, thank you very much for joining us today.